Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This time, recently, I didn't play for a very long time, about a week and a half. My parents are moving out of their home, so we helped them move over a couple days, and it was like 2 to 3 day moving process, took a long time, so I didn't play those days, and then I got pretty sick. So I didn't play those days, which was like 3 or 4 days, and then that's also why I haven't uploaded anything. And then most of my sickness went away, but I had a pretty nasty sore throat that stuck around for like another 4 or 5 days. So I played those days a little bit, but it was not comfortable, so I didn't play a lot. And then these last 2, 3, 4 days, I've been getting back into it. So I wanted to talk about things to think about when you come back to playing after a break, however long that may be. For me, it was like a week and a half. Some things I forgot about, not necessarily physically forgot about, not like I physically can't play this note, but like technique things I forgot about, like closed open throat, that's something. Maybe embouchure, the use of my muscles, stuff like that. So the first one I want to talk about is the opened or closed throat. I did notice I was struggling primarily playing in some of the upper register stuff when I came back, and I didn't really know why, because everything felt normal and I was kind of diagnosing it. And I realized that I was closing my throat pretty much fully, especially when I was in the upper register. So maybe something like this. I close my throat. It's kind of hard to do it now. When you're trying to do it, it's weird. But it wasn't, I didn't have a good sound. I was airing out on some notes. I felt like I just had no flexibility. It was just really weird. And actually, had someone asked us in a comment the other day. They said they were closing the throat in the upper register, and they asked if I had any tips, and I do. So I know a lot of people talk about, and the common analogy is to pretend like you're breathing with a softball or a baseball or, O shape in your mouth. So you're going. Breathing, with an O shape, and then, you are playing, ideally keeping that. But I think pretty much most people pretty much everyone that gives that analogy doesn't talk about is that you can close your throat after you stop playing, even if you breathe that way. It is very easy to just close your throat off with your tongue. I know maybe some people like, what do you mean you close your throat? It's either you tense up in your throat and you're creating tension, or I generally find that I do it with my tongue, instead of like my tongue low. If I talk like, very low, my tongue is already up, and if I talk with my closed throat, it kind of sounds like this, and the tongue is higher in the back of my throat. I feel like I'm looking down at the camera, I don't know. And I think that another thing people talk about is to arch your tongue when you're playing higher, and I think this goes hand in hand. And there's the reason a lot of people close their throat in the upper register. Maybe they're doing that good breath with the open throat and the baseball, softball analogy, and they're going, or they're breathing with the open throat, and then I think as soon as they arch their tongue at all, they're arching all of it, and especially in the back, they're kind of doing that, like. Which is, in my opinion, closing the throat back there, as opposed to arching just the front of your tongue, like. I can still, like if I pretend I have a baseball in the back of my throat, I can still arch the front of my tongue and feel like I have that openness on my throat, as opposed to arching all of it and closing it. So I guess you could kind of hear in the sound a little bit if I arch the back of my tongue versus the front of my tongue, which I think I should be arching. The one gives a much. I still have an open throat in the background, in the back of my throat. So if I play just like a slur with a closed throat again, I'll try to do it. I'll breathe good. I'll breathe with an open throat, and then I'll close it with the tongue. If I were to try to play higher with that, I'm kind of like airing out. It's not very good. I can still do it. It just feels bad, and I know eventually I would close up completely, and it wouldn't work. Or if I play with an arched tongue in the front, but still an open throat in the back. It's way easier. The sound's way. I should wait for the audio to come back on the phone. It's way easier. It's way better. Again, I don't know if the phone picks it up as well, but it sounds way better. It's more open. It's not as thin sounding as when the back of my tongue is arched versus the front. So I think when people say you're closing your throat, I think there's a couple things they can mean, but one of them is you are arching the wrong part of your tongue, and you're kind of arching it back here rather than up here, which in return is closing the throat and not allowing, the air to fully come up. So that was the first thing. That was the first thing I noticed, and it really, really helped. Also helped with my slurs a lot too, just like in general, not like full valve slurs, but just like open valve. 1, 2, 3, 3. Open 2, 1, 1, 2. You get the picture. Just helped the flexibility. Next thing I noticed was my muscles. I was not using my muscles correctly, particularly in my embouchure. I went back to relying on pressure more to keep my embouchure intact than my muscles. So I don't know if I've talked too much about this. I talked about this in the embouchure video. Basically, when we play the trumpet, we have our embouchure here. Right there, it's our embouchure. And as we play, our embouchure can move. And part of the muscle aspect, or the muscular aspect of playing trumpet, is making sure that your embouchure stays in the same spot. It stays intact. It doesn't move. You're not moving up and down in your lips. Your lips aren't moving apart, or they're going to move apart to play louder and stuff. But the part of your lip that touches the mouthpiece isn't moving. The mouthpiece shouldn't really be moving. And part of the way you do this is you need that muscle. You need to firm the muscle around your mouthpiece but not in the mouthpiece. Again, this is just a little recap from my embouchure video. If I firm up the muscle in the mouthpiece as well as around, it's going to sound like this. That's range. But if I firm the muscle on my mouthpiece, but not keep all the lips in the mouthpiece loose, it's going to sound hopefully like this. Much louder. I mean, every time you do something better, basically it's the same word. It's louder, which isn't always better, but it's better. It's louder. It's more resonant. It's easier. It's more fluid. I'm not trying to do slurs like this. That's with closed, my lips in the mouthpiece being, much tighter. Where if it's much looser, hopefully it's going to sound a little better. Speaking of slurs, one of the things that I've lost a little bit from coming back is my just like general flexibility slurring. Doesn't feel as good, but I think that's more of a muscle memory thing. I've kind of lost. I need to get that back. Just need to do that more. But I do, once I remembered to, use basically, you need your embouchure to stay in the same spot, and the way I was doing it when I came back was I wasn't using this muscle at all, and I was just pressing with the mouthpiece to keep it intact. It's fine, it worked, but my endurance suffered a lot. My range suffered because I was airing out more. So if I use less pressure, which is the goal in the upper register, to use the least amount of pressure possible, but still get a good sound, have the note. Once I changed from pressure to keep my embouchure into the muscle, my endurance got better, my range got better. I wasn't airing out as much. So that was another thing that to think about. Third was literally just thought about it. What was it? Teeth. This might not apply to everyone, but I, for a long time playing trumpet, have had an issue with my teeth being too close together. I kind of played like this for a long time, which really hurt my sound, and I couldn't really move my trumpet very much. Hurt my flexibility. wasn't good. So I've since adapted to play more like with much more space between my teeth. But sorry, I was trying to figure out how to say it. And I noticed when I came back that I closed my teeth again. And the way that I managed to get myself to open my teeth more when I play is to just, in my breath, think of my teeth being more open. So if I'm playing with closed teeth, that's like that much. Now this is going to depend on your facial structure and your teeth structure as well, but for me, they're very closed, so I have to physically make sure I'm thinking of pulling them apart a little more. So I'm kind of pulling it apart. Sorry, wait for the camera, the audio to come back. I'm kind of pulling it apart, my teeth apart, and then I'm making sure my lips are still together, but my teeth are apart, so it's kind of like a brain puzzle I have to work through when I play. But eventually it became muscle memory, and when I came back from my break, I realized I had lost that muscle memory and I had to regain it, get it back. So it's just another thing that might not apply to everyone, but for me it was a big difference maker. I remember I asked Louis one time I was like, how far should my teeth be apart? And he basically said, as close together as possible, as long as you can play with a good sound and have good flexibility. So for me, that's like there and not there. So that was the third thing that definitely I forgot about and had to relearn. Fourth thing is my jaw position, my lower jaw. I noticed I was playing with a receding jaw. When I'm playing well, my lower jaw is out because if I don't move my jaw, I used to play like this, which is fine up to a point. If you want to play, loud and high and stuff, you definitely need your lower jaw pushed out to support your upper lip. Otherwise, you're going to get kind of something like this. I feel all the pressure and everything on my upper lip, and it's just not, it feels bad. So you need that lower jaw out to support your upper lip and to take most of the pressure. Now, my lips are together, my lower lip is supporting my upper lip, being the primary one taking the weight, which is something, it wasn't too bad when I came back, but maybe I went from how I should play, this is for me personally, how I should play, which is like, I was probably playing like this. So it was just something like that was happening. It was like airing out. It was weird. It wasn't really working. I was like, what is going on here? Now it wasn't as bad as I used to be when I, like this. But it was somewhere in between, and I definitely needed to push out my lower jaw more to support it. I needed to support my upper lip, and just, it made everything better, as it does. Now that was something for me. Depending on your jaw structure, that might not be something that works for you. But that's something that I needed to remember. And then the last thing, which probably I should have put at the beginning because it's really important. But breathing. I noticed I was not really breathing fully. I was doing the motion. I was going. But I wasn't really taking in air too much. I was just kind of like maybe filling up just up here. And I need to fill up down here. So make sure you're breathing properly. I don't need to demonstrate what a good breath does. It really helps everything. So those are 5 things that I think maybe you should keep in mind if you go to a break, or just in general. Maybe if you're struggling right now, I bet one of those things could help. But if you were already playing well and now you took a break and you're like, I don't know why it's not working as well, those are 5 things that I recommend checking out. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.